So my spiritual journey started as a little boy. I actually used to teach the adult Sunday school class. And my greatest passion was not just watching the cartoons on Saturdays, but also reading the Bible. Even to the extent that while I was there in St. Petersburg, I was blessed to literally preach in about every single African-American church in that particular city, and have always had a passion for church, have always had a passion for Christ. As odd as it may sound, one of the ways in which my parents would punish me was not so much taking the tennis rackets from me or things of that sort, but would tell me on a Sunday that I can only go to one church service as opposed to multiple church services. And so that was the way that they would get my attention, because I just had this crazy passion for church. My first school that I attended was Morris Brown. Was there for a semester, transferred over to Clark Atlanta University. My academic performance, even while in high school, was not the greatest. At best, I was a C student. It was not until I came to Clark that my whole academic journey began to change for the better. Having individuals, in particular being that of teachers, who really encouraged me, motivated me, I was able to change my whole performance academically from being a C student to the point that A's and B's were the normative for me at that point. So my journey at the time at Clark, while pastoring, was a very difficult one, to say the least. Part of the challenge is that the church that I'm now pastoring was going through a transition in leadership. The former pastor had resigned. I was called to serve as senior pastor. At the same time, the facility that we're sitting in right now, I had the opportunity to help actually build this facility. And so when I was called to pastor here, it was nothing more than a land with a bunch of trees. And so I was able to witness the laying of the foundation, the erection of the wall, the placing the roof on top of it, and all that you see now was during my time of pastoring. I don't have a lot of the college stories that the average college student would have, because again, I was full-time in ministry and dealing with a church in transition and also a major, massive building program at the same time. Of course, was at Clark, played on the tennis team. And while at Clark, of course, my focus as it relates to my degree was in early childhood education and religion and philosophy. And so I ended up graduating with 2 degrees in those said disciplines. Went to several graduate schools and have acquired there 3 different master's degrees, and have even since then acquired a doctorate degree. God has allowed me to accomplish the little relative degree of success that I've accomplished. And it all started from St. Pete to Clark. Well, I would imagine every student's most memorable moment was graduation, but outside of that, it was developing some amazing relationships with individuals that really encouraged me and inspired me to stay the course and finish. Case in point, my tennis coach, Mr. McClendon, he was a stickler about not just the athletic aspect of it, but the academic aspect of it. So I celebrate him even this day as he resides in heaven for the encouragement that he gave, for the sense of instilling discipline and dedication within me. And so that is one of the highlights of that experience. Even beyond that, it was at Clark that I accepted the call to pastor Elizabeth Baptist Church. Oddly enough, I was right at about 21 years old when I was called to serve Elizabeth, and now I've been here for 23 years. And so not just my academic journey started at Clark, but in part my pastoral journey started at Clark. And for that, I'm absolutely grateful.